Paris, March 14th, 1314. A cold fog settles over the Seine as torches flicker against the night. On a small island in the river, a lone figure stands bound to a wooden post. His name, Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar. Tonight, he will die. But his final words will become one of the most legendary curses in medieval history. To understand how this moment came to be, we must return to the origins of the order. Founded in 1119, the Knights Templar began as a small brotherhood of warrior monks sworn to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. But within a century, they had become one of the most powerful institutions in Europe. They fought in the Crusades. They developed early forms of banking. They built fortresses across continents. Kings trusted them with gold. Armies feared them on the battlefield. Yet with power comes envy. And the man who envied them the most was the King of France, Philip IV. Philip was brilliant, ambitious, and deeply in debt to the Templars. Their wealth, influence, and independence threatened his authority. Whispers filled his palace. "Majesty, the people trust them more than they trust you." Philip decided the Templars had to be destroyed. And so, on Friday, October 13th, 1307, long before sunrise, the king struck. Across France, Templar commanderies were surrounded. Knights were dragged from their beds, records were seized, vaults were emptied. The accusations were shocking: secret rituals, forbidden symbols, betrayal of the faith. Most were invented by the king's advisors. Under pressure, some confessed. But one man never did: Jacques de Molay. For years he resisted false charges, insisting on the innocence of his order. But political pressure grew overwhelming. Even Pope Clement V, once sympathetic, turned against the Templars. And so, a final sentence was declared. The last Grand Master would die by fire. On the night of March 14th, 1314, Jacques de Molay was led to the stake on the Seine. A crowd gathered, silent and unsure. As the flames began to rise, Molay did something no one expected. He spoke. "Pope Clement, King Philip, before the year is out, you will stand before God's judgment." His voice carried across the river. Some stepped back in fear. Others fell to their knees. Moments later, Molay was gone, claimed by the fire. But his curse had just begun. Within 1 month, Pope Clement V died. Soon after, King Philip IV collapsed during a hunting trip. 3 of Philip's sons briefly ruled France, only to die young. The Capetian dynasty, one of Europe's greatest royal bloodlines, crumbled. Coincidence? Or the echo of Molay's final words? Yet Molay's curse is only half the mystery. The other half is the Templar treasure. When Philip arrested the Templars, he expected mountains of gold, sacred artifacts, and secret documents. But when his soldiers broke into the Templar treasury in Paris, it was empty. No gold, no chests, no relics. To this day, historians cannot explain how an entire fortune vanished overnight. Some say the Templars smuggled everything to Scotland. Others believe the treasure was shipped to Portugal, where surviving Templars reorganized under a new name, the Order of Christ. And some whisper of a secret Templar fleet that sailed into the Atlantic, never to return. As for the knights who survived, they disappeared into the shadows of Europe. Some joined other orders. Some became mercenaries. Some lived quiet lives, hiding their true identities. And some, if the legends are true, rebuilt the Brotherhood in secret. Even now, traces of their symbols appear in old churches, stone carvings, and mysterious manuscripts. Perhaps coincidence, perhaps something more. But one thing is certain. The night Jacques de Molay died, a chapter of history ended, and a legend began. A curse that toppled kings, a treasure that vanished without a trace, and a brotherhood whose legacy refuses to die. The Knights Templar may have fallen, but their shadow still lingers over the pages of history, and as long as their story is told, the fire of that night in Paris will continue to burn.